Hey guys, my name's Caleb, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the Ethereum breakout that's happened over the last couple days. And when I say breakout, really that's just kind of a return to sane prices. We've seen over the last 7 days an insane bear market, even though it only lasted for about 7 days so far. Just from May 18th, May 17th, we went from 3,500, as a lot of you already know, all the way down to 1,700. I think it was down to like 1,730, somewhere around there at one point. And just to remind you, over the last month, a lot of you already know, but that's down from 4,300 at one point. We got to 4,312, all the way down to 1,738, which is an insane drop. And in most cases, in previous bull runs, that typically means the end of the bull run. Anything over a 30 or 40% dump typically was the kickoff of a bear market. And you're going to hear a lot of people over the next couple weeks say, and they already are saying, that the bull run's over and that we are going down from here. And though we may see, a couple of rubber band patterns where we just spike up and down a little bit here and there, overall, people, the sentiment is that we are entering in what we saw right back here in 2017, where we saw a massive 80 to 90% dump, a rebound up, and then back down, and then eventually about a year later, another further dump. But I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that's going to happen in this video. So before we get into that, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the video, or I'm sorry, new to the channel, also subscribe. And so the reason why I think that that is not the case, although I didn't expect, and I don't think anybody really expected a 70% dump or 60% dump, whatever we did. Let's do the math really quick. 1738 over 4,300. That's a 60% dump, okay? So that is, like I said, typically the indicator of a fresh bear market. But I'm going to tell you why I don't think it is. So as I talked about a lot on this channel, anytime we have insane moves with Bitcoin and Ethereum, even the fundamental projects, you still get so many people that are FOMOing in, that have no idea what they're investing in, that are just getting into it because they want to sell it, for a higher price. They're in it for 0% of the fundamentals or the tech. They just want to buy in to, exploit some greater money, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that, except, we get products like Shiba Coin, right? And Dogecoin, which has got so much support from Elon Musk, which is beyond me of how that's even what he's wanting to take on as a project. But I'm going to show you some data here that kind of connects to my theory of why this all happened. Now, I talked about a lot how this was going to happen eventually. The more paper hands we get into the market with all the new investors coming in. I showed earlier in my last couple videos about all the, Ethereum. Here, let me see if I can pull it up. The new wallets added to Ethereum. Okay, so if you go over to, let's see, Bitcoin new addresses, this is on Glassnode. You can also switch over to the Ethereum data and look at that as well. So I'm going to switch over to Ethereum and we can look at the number of new addresses daily. We saw over the last 3 months, pretty much from January over here, we just saw an insane spike, especially, look at this. You could almost predict it just by using this data. The last time we had that many new users was, believe it or not, back in the 2017 bull run, right? Look at that. It almost went exactly to the same level, okay? So here in April, we had an insane amount of new addresses, and then it peaked up again May 11th, okay? And all those new addresses, these newbies coming to the market, you could call them first-time beginner traders, are very emotional. They don't trade with the sound logic that most traders do. And whenever that happens, there's just an insane hype wave and people jumping in. Things jump up higher than they should. I remember I sold my first batch of Ethereum at 3,400, and I talked about that, and then some more at 3,800, and then a little bit more at 4,000. I don't think any of us could really believe that we reached those prices that quick and that fast. But I'm going to show you some data right now that suggests that I think a lot of those newbies are out of the market. And these moves we see now is actually a lot more of smart money, okay? So I want to show you here. This is just Shiba, okay? Shiba token. You can see we had this insane price move. And look at the dates here. Let me highlight then until now. Look at the volume. First of all, we had the insane price run up. Okay. Look at the volume spike we had here. This was just before the crash, the peak of insanity, you could say, May 10th, right? And just after May 10th, we saw a big crash. Look at all the new investors jumping in. The volume, I think, let me pull up the volume here this day. May 10th, the volume on just Shiba alone reached $21 billion in 24-hour trading volume, which whenever people are jumping on, using the network, swapping, doing all these things, they use Uniswap and all the network fees, even though this one isn't on Ethereum. I think this one is a token off of Binance. But whenever this happens, it runs up and congests the network, right? And then fees are drawn up. So miners are getting paid more and the whole network just congests and then everything gets inflated, right? All at the same time, we see this giant bubble of newbies. And then let's look at the same data from Dogecoin. So Dogecoin here, this was back May 5th again. Okay, so this is just in the last month. Look at the volume we had back in April 27th, $3 billion, right? Kind of average and normal. And then seemingly all in like the span of 2 weeks, we just saw a huge flood of new investors just jumping into Dogecoin, Bone, Shiba coin, all these coins, right? And inflating the network, inflating fees, everything else. And then right around May 5th, I remember May 5th, I was in Disney World with my son and I sold again. And I was just looking at the price of Ethereum every time I would, I tried not to check that much because I was having family time. But every time I would check, it would surprise me because I did not think we were going to run to those levels that fast. And it was because of the bubble of new people jumping into the market. And as I've talked about over and over, and it'll happen again and again, anytime these paper hands enter the market, it creates like this tinder, right? Where any sort of bad news or anything ignites. And because there's not enough, solid hands in there, it just ignites. And those people FOMO in and they FOMO out just as quickly because they got in off of emotion and they got out. Look at the volume here off Dogecoin. This one day was $50 billion in trading volume for Dogecoin in one day, right? 52 billion the day before that. How insane is that? And then just like as fast as they came in, they came right back out. And although some of these people may be bag holding, now we're back down to like 7 billion, which is insane still for Dogecoin. But let me show you the exact same data on Ethereum, okay? So Ethereum, look at the levels. They've actually stayed pretty damn steady this entire time. So here, May 1st, let's look at the same day, okay, May 5th. 57 billion, right? That's insane. The Ethereum and Dogecoin had about the same trading volume in 24 hours on that day. So overall, it's kind of stayed the same. In fact, it's gotten a little bit bigger over here, especially on that dump. We saw a lot of people dumping Ethereum. But overall, it hasn't been like so much insanity, okay? And another thing I want to point out, which I talked a lot about in my last video, during that dump, and especially whenever people were swapping for Dogecoin and all the other stuff, Uniswap was seeing insane fees. You can go over to the Uniswap page and look at the Uniswap volume that was happening on the network. It was insane over that last 2 weeks here of this big spike of insanity. It was nuts how much transaction volume people were swapping and doing on Uniswap to get their hands on the latest meme coin. And then as we began to dump and people panic sold, they were over leveraged. They got into DeFi too fast. Created too big of a position, over leveraged. As this dump off happened, I talked about this in my last video, we saw the network get so insanely congested. Ethereum gas fees at one point were up to like 2,000 Gwei, okay, which was insane. It was basically, the network was completely unusable. Now, what's very comforting to me to see is not only, although the prices have jumped back up 25% in the last day, I think that's just, the new hands, the weak hands dumped out. They sold their coins. The people who were going to sell at this point, they did. Anybody who didn't sell down at the 1,700 level, they're not selling at any point. I think, I mean, a lot of you can kind of probably attest to the same thing. If you bought at any time in the last 6 months, Ethereum, you saw this up and down and you didn't sell at $1,700, there's no way you're going to sell at this point. I mean, it could drop to, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. You guys can let me know. It could have dropped to $1,100 or, $900. And I still wouldn't have sold. If anything, I would have just kept buying up. But the people who maybe got in at these levels, 33, 35, 36, and they saw their portfolio dump, especially in those other meme coins, they left. They're gone. And they're scarred from the market, maybe for good or for at least a long time, which overall is very healthy for the market. And I believe that because, those things happen, I believe we are still, especially with EIP 1559 happening with Ethereum, now we have decentralized finance and NFTs, these fundamental things that are forever changing the course of humanity and the technology we're able to use today. I believe that the bull market is not over. Although we may see another, dip back down as, people get liquidated for other reasons. It doesn't really seem like it though, because if people were getting irresponsibly long, we'd see gas prices start to go up. We'd see DeFi pulse, spiking way back up. This is all the total value locked into DeFi protocols. Just in the last 30 days, yeah, we had insane numbers up here, but once people got liquidated, maybe a little bit more people are going long right now. But overall, I believe people have learned their lesson short term. And in my opinion, again, not financial advice, I'm very excited to see what happens over the next couple weeks. I'm not selling, even though it is kind of tempting sometimes to imagine a scenario where I could sell a little bit here. And then, if we get some more chances to dump off, buy a little bit more. Overall, with everything happening, I'm not going to do it because I'm not a day trader or even a swing trader. I am a long-term investor that invest based off fundamentals. And with everything going on with Ethereum, it is way too risky long-term for me to sell or spare any coins at all. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Is this the end of the bull run? Are we about to see another dump off to, lower levels, 1700, below 2000, or are we headed straight back up to, previous all-time highs? Personally, I don't think we're going to, and I don't think we should jump all the way back up to, $4,000 right away. It may take a couple months to get there, or maybe even right in time for EIP 1559. We might be hovering around that area. But overall, I do think that a lot of the dumb money has left the markets and it has been scarred from the markets for a little while, and we're going to start to see more smart money come in. Just like we saw yesterday, Ray Dalio talked about he bought Bitcoin, he owns Bitcoin. I think a lot of that narrative is going to start to come out, especially with DeFi and these other projects. Banks are starting to see that we don't really need them. We can act peer-to-peer, and that is going to be the narrative for the next 6 to 12 months. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.